They thought they had him. The evidence was solid, the room was ready, and the detectives were confident. But what they didn't know was that the man sitting across from them had already planned every move, even theirs. This isn't just another interrogation. This is a mind game where the suspect might just be the smartest person in the room. Stay tuned, because what happens next will leave you questioning who's really in control. The cold seared my wrists, the handcuffs biting into my skin. Blue scrubs, a windowless room, and a bald-headed man staring across a sterile table. This was my reality. They wanted a confession. I knew their game. I'm not signing nothing, I declared, my voice firm despite the rising tide of discomfort within me. They called me genius, a sarcastic jab at my refusal to play along. But I wasn't a genius, just experienced. I've been through the system, man, I continued. I know how it works. You're not my friend. All you're trying to get is some stupid-ass confession, and you're not gonna get one. My words, raw and unyielding, hung in the air, a defiant barrier between their agenda and my truth. It had all started on a seemingly ordinary evening in Georgia, 2011. A local 7-Eleven, its vibrant facade a stark contrast to the darkness that shrouded it. Alarm bells began to sound, reports of an armed robbery flooding into the local police department. But upon arrival at the scene, the true suspect was nowhere to be found. A silhouette with a question mark over its head, its location unknown. Instead, police cars swarmed, expanding their search, until they heard commotion in a nearby house. And without any other leads, they stormed in. They found me, a known heroin addict, sitting inside with a gun. No evidence, just assumptions, and a convenient narrative. They arrested me, Jeff Pearson, and brought me in for questioning. My mugshot, a grainy relic, now serves as a grim reminder. I was about to go down in history as one of the few men who single-handedly beat the cops at their own game. And I would do it all while experiencing horrific heroin withdrawals, my body racked with tremors and a desperate craving for relief. This was my masterclass in what to do while in police custody. The next 24 hours were captured on police cameras within the interview room. Unlike most such footage, mine was eventually uploaded to my own YouTube channel, a testament to how I turned their tools against them. I was processed, dressed in prison scrubs, already having spent some time in a cell while they gathered their evidence. Then, they brought me to the small, windowless room where the interrogation would begin. My first words to the detective were crucial, an immediate assertion of my rights. Am I under arrest? For now, he replied evasively.
I'm under arrest.
I pressed. Yeah, he conceded. He tried to explain himself, but I stopped him. Before we talk to each other, I need to read your rights, okay? He said, pushing a sheet of paper toward me.
Wat am I under arrest for?
I demanded. He paused, then finally stated, obviously the charge is robbery, okay? It was clear from that first moment that I had done my research. This was exactly how you should be doing it. From here, there are two options. If you're not being arrested or detained, you simply leave. If you are being arrested, you immediately ask for a lawyer and stay silent until you're provided with one. These options give you the best chance of stopping the police in their tracks and creating the best defense possible. The detective began to recite the Miranda warning, those familiar lines from countless police shows and movies. Most people glaze over them, caught in the panic of being arrested. But I was listening intently, absorbing every word of that useful information. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court of law. You the right to talk to the lawyer for advice before we question you. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer and want one, a lawyer will be provided for you. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you'll still have the right to stop answering questions anytime. He finished with a snide remark. You've probably heard these before, haven't you? He was trying to assert dominance, to remind me of my past as a previously convicted criminal. But it didn't work. I remained silent. He leaned back in his chair, trying to appear unconcerned, but his body language betrayed his growing unease. He knew this was going to be a tricky few hours. He kept asking if I understood my rights, trying to get a verbal yes or no from me, but I wouldn't budge. We're getting paid more than you are so we can sit here for a long time, man. He tried to intimidate.
I fear it back, you look like the prick.
He agreed, well, I am. It was a small victory, a crack in his facade. After what felt like an eternity, but was probably only a few minutes of real interaction, he realized I wasn't going to talk. I simply asked to be taken back to my cell. I don't talk to you motherfuckers, I told him as I stood up. I knew they had nothing on me. If they had evidence, they wouldn't be playing these games. So I stayed silent, and he had no choice but to escort me back to my cell. 2 hours later, They brought me back for round 2. This time, he came in with a Coke, trying to play the good cop. He offered to open it for me. I took the opportunity to mention my deteriorating condition. I need methadone, I stated plainly. He asked if I had a prescription.
I didn't.
He asked why I needed it. Because I'm a fucking junkie, I replied, adding, I'ma go through withdrawal here, man. It was a blunt, honest truth, and another piece of leverage. They were denying me necessary medication, a callous move designed to make me desperate. He then tried to lure me into a conversation about what happened last night, painting me into a corner with an alternative question technique. Either you're in a bad set of circumstances or you went and committed an armed robbery last night, he offered, both options imply my guilt. I simply stated, obviously I didn't commit no fucking armed robbery. I was finished with his personal talk. He then tried to get me to read and sign a document, but I refused. I'm not signing nothing, I repeated. He reiterated that I was still on hold for a robbery. I know, I replied. I don't know why I need a fucking lawyer because obviously I didn't do nothing. I reminded him that I'd been through this before, that they hadn't interviewed me this much for other charges. My experience was my shield. Wham bam, thank you for the Coke, put me back in the cell.
That's my home.
He tried to imply my uncooperativeness would hurt me with my parole officer, a last-ditch effort to find some leverage.
But I knew better.
A good word from him meant nothing if I was stuck in prison for a crime I didn't commit.
My längste Spoke Volumes.
They were watching the clock, and so was I. They knew their time was limited. For the next 4 minutes, he continued his desperate attempts, bringing up the gun they found, photos of a grim prison cell, and the drugs I was dependent on. He tried to scare me with images of my future, to taunt me with the thought of withdrawals in a cold cell. But I remained stone-faced, utterly unmoved. I sipped my soda, occasionally rubbing my ankles where the handcuffs had been, a quiet defiance. I knew I had almost won. Then, the true agony of withdrawal hit. My body rebelled, and I coughed up blood. I need to go to the hospital, I gasped, the words barely audible. They had kept me for hours, denying medication, questioning me repeatedly without evidence. But I had held strong. Finally, 12 hours after my arrest, they had nothing. They released me from custody, utterly defeated. I walked out a free man, scarred but unbroken. That experience changed me.
I got clean, left heroin behind.
I started uploading to that same YouTube channel where their interrogation footage now resides, but this time, it's my content. I make music, and I share my story, offering tips on how to avoid the police's tricks, how to assert your rights, and how to survive the system that tried to break me. I became the legend of Jeff, a testament to the power of knowing your rights and refusing to be silenced. This content is for educational purposes only, and my story is a harsh lesson in exercising your constitutional rights against manipulative interrogation tactics. So, who really won that interrogation? If you think the suspect outsmarted the detectives, or if you spotted the moment everything changed, tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because the next case might be even smarter than this one.